So in the distance through the trees you can just about make out the rock of Sigiriya here in Sri Lanka. At the moment we're standing by the inner moat and we're going to walk all the way to the top. Now the history of Sigiriya is rather interesting. The king who built his fortress here, his palaces, usurped his half-brother. He killed his father. His half-brother fled, I believe, to India for safety. And the king knew that his half-brother would seek revenge and seek his rightful place on the throne. Therefore, he fled from the north, from Anuradhapura, where we've just been, and built his palace here on top of a giant rock, so that not only would it act as royal palaces, but also help to protect him from his revengeful brother. From memory, his brother does eventually come back, having raised an army, and does take his rightful place. Here we are standing in the ramparts, and now you can get a better idea of what Sigiriya actually looks like. Now, it was first inhabited by monks in the 3rd century BC in the caves around the bottom, and it was in the 5th century AD that the palace was built. And this is called Sigiriya, named after the lion-like facade that it was given by the king to make it seem less like a fortress. It was given a lion's face, I believe, and giant paws, which hopefully we will still see today. Now this does become more and more imposing as you get closer and realise the magnitude of the climb that's required. Getting closer, and I have to say the sun is already starting to make me feel very, very warm, so I'm not sure what it's going to be like when we're actually climbing on the side of the rock. Here we have a natural boulder arch which has been utilised by the architects here to make an archway for the stairway here. To the left and right are 2 caves which were used by the early monks, and in this one we have an original plinth which was used as a seat by the monks for meditation. When will these stairs end? So here is one of the caves that the first monks lived in at the base of Sigiriya. And apparently there are still faint traces on the wall from paintings that were here. You can see some up here.
You can see just over here.
Oh yes, and here you can see a figure of a woman. So these paintings are probably from later, from when this was a palace, as they're very much in a similar style as what is found later on in a far better condition. Although these figures were full length, unlike the ones further up. So as you can see, the steps have become very steep now, and the heat is starting to get to me too. And we're about to go across this walkway here, which I suspect may be posing somewhat of a challenge, and then up the spiral staircase. Along here, just by the red part of the wall, you can see a pathway which I suspect is used by the locals who work here. there's Martin. I better go and catch him up. So here we have Cobra Hood Cave, because as you may be able to tell from this, or maybe not, the overhang here looks a little bit like a cobra when it suddenly rises up about to strike. Now underneath in the cave here was originally the place where the monks would meditate, and 9 skeletons, human skeletons, were found at the back. Why? I don't know.
This is the Asana cave, and a lot of people who are going by are wondering about what kind of yogic practices took place here. But Asana actually means seat in the Indian language, so it's probably named after this beautiful seat you see here.
Oh, right, we're starting the final climb. Now this is the bit that's really difficult, especially now that the sun has come out quite so much. Not only do we have these steps all the way up, but then there's a path as well. And I think we've made it to the entrance that gives this place its title of Lion Rock. Here on the right we have one clawed paw with the stairway in the middle, and then on the left the other paw. And originally there was apparently also the head of a lion above. So imagine how foreboding this was as an entrance to the grand palaces on the top of this rock. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure I'm particularly looking forward to that climb, but I can't wait to see the view from the top. Past the mirror wall and went through the caves with the naughty pictures, and now we're almost at the top. It is probably difficult to see on the screen, but right in the middle there's a white statue. You'll be unsurprised to hear that's Buddha looking towards us, looking towards the Sigiriya mountain. Right, time to take that staircase. Right, we're almost there, just a little bit further and then we'll be right at the top. Oh. Now I had to put the phone away while we were climbing up because the metal stairs we were climbing were over a sheer drop, and I was worried that should I slip and let go of the phone, or if the phone slipped out of my hand then I would lose it. But you can see the path we took just below us. So here we are, final climb. Up to the top, not far. Look at the view. Wow, Now that's some nest. On this point on the top, you can see the magnitude of the climb we've just done. So there's the walkway, the way we came in towards Sigiriya. You can just about make out the white Buddhist statue in the distance. And from up here, the world seems so much smaller somehow. Oh!
Yes.
Oh!
This lizard here has got a great routine. He's just sunning himself, and every now and again a termite comes out and he eats it.
Hello, Mr. Lizard. I'll go on, eat a termite for us. Maybe this is the answer to life. Find your perfect spot, allow the sun to warm you, and just wait for dinner to walk by.